In a world where adversity often overshadows hope, there are stories that shine through as beacon of resilience and courage. This is the story of Dr. Irene Olumese, a woman whose life journey has been marked by profound challenges and unwavering determination. A lung transplant survivor and bilateral amputee, Irene has transformed her trials into a powerful narrative of hope and inspiration.
It all started in 1993 when my doctors found that there was something in my chest. I had been coughing for quite a while and it was not responding to treatment. And then when they did the x-ray, they saw something at the University Teaching Hospital in Ibadan. They had to do a surgery to find out what that was. And it turned out to be a benign tumor. But after they brought it out, it was a major surgery to bring that out. It was between my heart and my lungs. The coughing did not stop, and I continued to cough nonstop every day for the next 20 years. In the midst of all of that, we were trying to find out what exactly was going on because other things were happening along the side as the problem got progressively worse. In 1998, they made a diagnosis that it's a chronic disease of the lungs and also a debilitating neuromuscular disease, which means that there's a weakness in my muscles.
For 20 years, Irene battled chronic respiratory disease known as bronchiectasis and a debilitating neurological muscular disorder. These conditions not only tested her physical endurance, but also her spirit.
And while I was working in the northern region of Ghana in 2003, the lungs collapsed in the northern part, and there was no medical facility to take care of me. And so I couldn't be air freighted, air ambulanced to Accra. So I had to be placed in an ambulance at 10 plus hours on the road without oxygen and brought back to Accra. The doctors still don't know how I survived that trip with collapsed lungs. In 2010, the doctors told me that they had exhausted all medical options and that the only thing that was left is for me to have a lung transplant.
In a life-defining moment, Irene underwent a lung transplant, a procedure that offered a lifetime but came with unforeseen complications. The battle wasn't over, it was just beginning.
Shortly after the surgery, I developed complications. So they had to put me in a medically induced coma. So I was in coma for about 5 weeks. In that period, I was on an oxygen, heart-lung machine. My systems were failing. I had to be on I had a renal failure. I had to be on dialysis as well. So I was literally on 3 machines to keep me alive. And in that process, something went wrong. There was insufficient blood flow to my hands and to my legs. So by the time I was in coma for about 3 weeks, they knew that both lungs and legs were dying. And then they told my husband that they need to amputate both the hands and the legs to save my life. We rested our case in the Lord, and the 2 legs were amputated below the knees 2 weeks after I came out of coma, and that was on the 31st of May 2013. But my hands began to show some signs of recovery. All the nails fell off, and I spent 3 months removing all the dead tissues from my hands. So, here is a new life without 2 legs. What next? The way my husband and my sons managed the situation, they were able to take care of my stumps even when I couldn't touch it. Helped me to come to terms with the fact that if my family can accept me, the people who are closest to me can accept me, then I can accept myself.
Yet, in the face of this devastating loss, she found an unyielding strength. Irene's story is not just about survival, it's about thriving in the aftermath of trauma. Her journey through these multidimensional, life threatening experiences has become a source of inspiration for many.
While I was learning how to walk again, I mean, you know what it is like for an adult to have to know how to put one foot in front of the other. The question that came to my mind was, how do amputees in Nigeria cope? We know what our medical facilities are like. I know how expensive these legs are. Who is giving them legs? Who is supporting them? So all through the months of my therapy, that question will not leave my mind. Who is helping amputees in Nigeria? I knew immediately what I wanted to do. That will set up a foundation that will provide prosthetic limbs for women and children. So that was our objective, that all may walk again. And that I will use my story of 20 long years of living with chronic diseases to inspire hope and encourage people who are going through challenges. And we will do different activities to raise funds to provide prosthetic limbs for women and children with missing limbs. And we focused on women and children with missing limbs for a reason. You see, a woman already is at a disadvantaged position. If you now have missing limbs, that means that that woman can no longer go to work. She can't go to market. She can't do the things that other people can do. If a young girl loses her limbs, she can stop going to school because of that. I mean, we have several young girls who have lost their limbs and they stop going to school. So can you imagine no education, missing limbs, and you are a female? What is going to happen to that girl? What life is that girl going to live? We will target our support. It will be where it will have maximum impact. Young girls, women, so that they can get back to school and get back to work.
The foundation's work goes beyond just physical rehabilitation. Irene understands the emotional and psychological toll that comes with such a life altering experience. Through her work, she aims to restore not just mobility, but dignity and hope. Irene's journey and her commitment to uplifting others are captured in her book, Grace in the Storms. A living proof, this work reflects her desire to help others navigate the storms of life with courage and faith, to transform their pain into a source of strength and purpose.